All right, Fig fan, we got a good one for you today. And yes, I am clean shaven and fresh faced, but today we are unboxing the new WWE Ultimate Edition Series 27 CM Punk, the first and right now only modern day CM Punk Ultimate. So I'm excited about this one. Stay tuned. CM Punk is no stranger to WWE Mattel's Ultimate Edition line. He's already gotten two prior to this new Ultimate Edition Series 27 release. I'm talking that Ringside Collectibles exclusive, the first CM Punk Ultimate, shockingly enough, and it is arguably one of his most famous moments, I would say. Plus comes in that blue packaging. Kept this one mock because this is like a time capsule of an era that I love of Punk, and I love the presentation in this blue box, so I kept it mint in box. But then we recently got the Mattel Creations exclusive right here, and this is more of a WWECW champion CM Punk. And honestly, this era of his career didn't really resonate with me too much. I wasn't a Punk guy then, but this figure, I think we're all Punk guys and girls now, right? We are all fans of CM Punk in this modern era. So I have been waiting for this one. Plus, I love that it's kind of in that Hitman style tribute gear. There's a couple things missing, right? There's a couple tattoos as expected that were missing, but he comes with additional heads, he comes with additional hands, and he comes with a cloth goods entrance hoodie. So let's rip this bad boy open. All right, so there he is, CM Punk out of the packaging. On the back, it has the stats. It says 6 feet 2 inches, Chicago, Illinois. The GTS is his finisher. Career highlights are WWE Champion, World Heavyweight Champion. It says the tensions between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre stemmed from their respective first runs in WWE and boiled over for SummerSlam 2024. The ever-dangerous McIntyre made things personal with the Second City Saint. When he arrived in Cleveland, everyone knew what time it was. So pretty cool that this kind of goes hand in hand with that Drew McIntyre Ultimate that we've already unboxed on the channel. You know that I loved having them with the peace sign fingers up and everything like that. But this is how I ultimately displayed him. Obviously, they're not the exact same event attire and everything like that, but they did include additional hands for CM Punk to kind of do that peace sign meme stance right back to Drew. We also have my favorite, fists, and you'll notice they do have the new molded wrist tape around the hands and on the wrists on the figure, which I'll show you in a second. And then we have the flat hands that are just painted on, kind of similar to the peace signs. They're not going to do new molds for those. He does come with a new CM Punk hoodie, black with the CM Punk logo right there on the chest. It does come with hoodie strings, which I love. I love that it has the hoodie strings because he always has them on pretty much. And the Best in the World logo on the back. And then we have two additional heads. Over here, we have that snarling head. And you'll notice right above the left eyebrow that there is definitely some paint discrepancies there. Wish they weren't, but it seems like this is an ever-growing problem with the new factories over in Vietnam for WWE Mattel toys. Hopefully, in due time, this does get fixed, but I feel like it should have been fixed by now. And then we have this smiling one. Again, a couple paint discrepancies on the nose, marks and stuff like that, which, listen, these are toys. These are, made in a factory. I expect there to be issues with paint, not perfect. However, one no-no for me is anytime that there is a paint issue on the face. To me, that is the one spot that needs to have some TLC and not really take away from the likeness of the figure, because without a good head, I mean, the figure kind of lacks at that point. But the main head looks pretty good. He's got that little side smirk on. The hair is slicked back, and I don't know if it's showing up it is showing up on the camera. It's kind of like sparkling. There's not glitter in it, but there's areas of it that sparkle when light hit it. I like that they got the grays in the hair there for him. He does have all of his tattoos for the most part, except for obviously the Pepsi logo and the G.I. Joe logo. everything we've come used to, and I love all the colors on there. Some pretty good paint apps for the tattoos. They connect all very, very well. There's not lines. However, when we get to the boots, you'll notice there are quite a few lines that don't add up right here on the kick pads like that, as well as some missing white paint on the boots, which is kind of a bummer because, as I said, I really love this gear, that Hitman style gear. But what are you going to do? I mean, I don't really find figures in my area often, especially Ultimate Editions. I've found Bailey over and over and over again. Never saw Logan. Never saw CM Punk. So when Amazon had him in stock, I had to take a chance. And honestly, I will post the link to the Amazon listings in this description so you can go and pick them up yourself. But the one thing I was talking about that I really love, right here, we have the molded wrist tape on the figure that we have been wanting for quite some time. The textured and molded wrist tape on the wrist, forearm, and the hand. So the black, pink, and white gear absolutely pops. Accurate colors. I love the way it looks, man. I love it. But let's take a look at what this figure looks like with the hoodie on. So it's a Velcro front hoodie. Load this thing on, and you can Velcro it back up to cover him up, or you can kind of just leave it open, right? I think Punk typically does like a 3/4 zip on his. You can't really do that with Velcro. But I am going to put some fists in. I like to do this because it helps me figure out how I'm going to pose it and what I'm going to do, right? But man, this figure looks great. It does. I dig it. All right. So here he is in the hoodie, right? We've got the fist there. The hoodie strings, you know, you can kind of manipulate them a little bit and have them lay the way that you want to. The hood kind of stays up. That's the one thing I hate about cloth goods hoodies for figures. No matter what you do, best thing you can do is kind of tuck it on the inside, but then he looks like it was an accident. It's not supposed to be that way. So I don't really like that idea. But if you really hate the idea of this hoodie being up, you can kind of tuck it in. That's my biggest issue with hoodies always. I said that with the most recent Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. That bothers me. But I don't even know if I'm going to display him in the hoodie, to be honest with you, because the hoodie would kind of cover up what I think is the key components of this figure, and that is the Bret the Hitman Hart gear. So I don't know if I'm going to be actually utilizing the hoodie. But there's so many different poses you can do with this figure because of all the interchangeable hands and heads. So we're going to put on the open hand slap hands, as I like to call them. A little callback to Dr. D. David Schultz. I will say this, that's kind of interesting. This figure is probably the stiffest Ultimate that I have had in quite some time. Shockingly enough, because typically my Ultimates are super, super loose when I get them, which I always kind of dread. But dude, this thing's awesome. It's kind of crazy that CM Punk has like no tattoos on his back essentially, because he looks so bare from behind, but then on the front, I mean, he's loaded with them, right? I do wish he had those thigh tats, but we all know there was no chance of that happening. Very, very cool the way that you can pose these figures nowadays. I would have loved this as a kid. But let's switch the heads out. We're going to take that smirk head off, and we're going to put the snarling head on. Check out the back of the hair, how it flows down. A little bit too ripped for CM Punk, I would say. But, I mean, what else are you going to do, right? I think this is probably the most acceptable torso for CM Punk as it is. And here he is doing a little ninjutsu right there. A little karate sizing. But head looks good on there. I think the head that I prefer is probably the one that was on it in the packaging. But we're going to put the smiling head sculpt on. And we're going to pose this bad boy like he's throwing up the deuces for Mr. Drew McIntyre. The deuces for Drewces. Check that out, dude. what a cool figure, man. I love it. Like I said, it's a little bit stiffer than I'm used to with Ultimates, which is a good thing for me. Some people like the fluidity and breaking them up so they can get all the poses out of them. When I first open a figure, I want it to be like a brand new figure, right? I want it to be kind of stiff. I want to be the one to break it in. And luckily, I'm able to do that with this one for an Ultimate. Man, there's so many Ultimates over there. I think the Logan Paul was super, super loose, which kind of was a bummer. And I'm actually off to the camera. Over on this side is all of my Ultimate Editions. So I'm kind of excited to be able to add the new CM Punk on there. But yeah, like I said, this is available now. Ringside Collectibles, Amazon.com, and is making its way to stores. So if you live in an area where retail is constantly stocking, unlike my area, definitely get out there. I'm sure we'll be able to find it. And there are a couple different variations of this. With the kick pads. I don't have the other variant to show you on camera, the kick pads, but yeah, the formula on the bottom portion of the legs is a little bit different. This is the one that I wanted anyway, so it is what it is. But yeah, solid figure. I dig it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's definitive CM Punk. If I was going for just one CM Punk and it was more definitive, I would probably stick with this one right here, the blue. I'll grab it for you. I would probably grab that one if I was going for a more definitive CM Punk. But I dig this one. I think it's great. I think we all know we're going to be getting plenty of CM Punks in the future. We're going to stand this bad boy up and see what the exact height is of him. We're looking at about 6 3/4 inches on this with the handy dandy fig heel tape measure. So I recommend it. I can't imagine that this is ever going to be a shelf warmer, honestly. Everybody wants a CM Punk figure. So, yeah, I'm digging it. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. Can't wait to pose it. And we're going to be posting some pictures on social media, so make sure you stay tuned. Go back and watch some of our previous videos. And if you're interested, you can pick up my new book, The Wrestling Figure Encyclopedia, available now on Amazon.com, or simply go to heelbooks.com. So, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you for joining me. Peace. Or should I say... peace! Are you a wrestling figure collector of WWE Mattel, AEW Jazzwares, and everything in between? Then you need Fig Heel's Wrestling Figure Encyclopedia, the modern edition covering all releases from 2010 to present day. Featuring over 7,000 photos of action figures from the hottest brands, including independent toy makers. Keep track of what you have, want, and need, including loose, mock, and overall collection value. With figure photography by Matthew Goldberg, the Wrestling Figure Encyclopedia is a must-have for collectors. Full-color paperback and hardcover editions available now at heelbooks.com. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at FigHeel. Pick up my book series on Amazon and my merchandise on ProWrestlingTees.com/FigHeel. Join my official sponsor, Whatnot, at whatheel.com and receive $15 off your first purchase.